Welcome back for day 14.
Where we have taken a diversion from the whole thing of clanker killers into, robots that kill other robots. And now we're going to continue that lady bots that kill other robots theme with this figma here of a Nier Automata Yorha number 2 Type B. As she appeared in the video games and in the Nier Automata anime that aired a couple of years ago. So yeah, looking at the box, it's nice presentation. You can see there's a lot of stuff there. She has her pod over there. She's got a whole bunch of different accessories, some faces, a little stand for the pod, it looks like. We got some swords. We got some corrupted eyes too. Like, this is going to be a pretty cool box. So let's crack her open and let's see what we got in here. Incidentally, Nier Automata is absolutely one of those games that people should play. It's available on a lot of platforms. It is an amazing game. Like some very deep storytelling, but it is also a game that you do have to play through. You do have to play through the main game twice in order to get through and then it's not until the third playthrough that you get to the real meat of the story. Like, that is a bit of a minor complaint about the game, but hey, the meat of the story is pretty incredible. It is pretty good, and I will say that the anime actually does do a pretty good job of adapting it. Like, the anime even adapted some parts of the story that I thought would have been like very, very difficult to adapt. I was really wondering how they were going to do it from a meta standpoint, but they pulled it off. And with that said, here we have the base figure for 2B. So looking at her base head here, we can see that, good likeness. They've got all the details of the character as she shows up in, in the anime, in the video games. We got the, it's a very sexy, going for a very sexy look. We got the skirt cut over there. We got the, we've got the chest window. We've got the back window. Like, this is very clearly a design that is designed to be seen from behind. Considering showing skin, video game designs. They did a pretty good job here, just even on the blinders there. We got the little mole on her face. We got the headband. So let's start taking a look at articulation and stuff here. So we have, ball joint here at the upper neck. Doesn't look like there's anything on the lower neck there for articulation. Just the upper neck. Shoulders. Shoulders don't look like they're going to be articulated that well, but I am pleasantly surprised because, we got a bit of a rocker here in the ball joint. We got a whole extra ball joint in here just for the shoulders. So we actually can get them all the way around here. You can see like the actual joint construction. Let's do some butterfly joints too. So we can actually get the arms all the way out front like this, which is pretty good for if you want to say do sword holding poses. That's pretty great. What else? We have a swivel up here, just under the shoulder. Goes all the way around. Let's see. We have elbow bend, which is a little bit more than 90 degrees. Which is pretty good there. Oh, it's double jointed. That's why. There's a second joint. It's just easy to miss. There's a second joint in there, and that additional joint just gives a little bit more range. And then, of course, we got these teeny tiny ball joints here that are the wrists. They're slightly a different color than the actual arm, which is a little bit of a negative, but because the actual arm here is like more of an off-white than it is a white, while the ball joints are white. But hey, it's pretty posable for the hand, all the same. So far, I'm pretty impressed by posability on this toy. Let's see, we have a ball jointed waist over here. You can see it goes up and down and around a bit there. It's decent posability. As for the skirt is soft plastic and it is multiple parts. So we have a bit that comes up there. We have a bit that then comes up here. There's a cut in the skirt over here as well too. This whole front has a cut in it. So, and you can see that they have like done some overpainting on some of these bits in the skirt. And what that means is that, if we want to get the legs out, if we want to have her do the splits, the legs actually don't go out all that far. I just popped it out of the ball joint here, case in point. Yes, the legs only go out to about there, but it is nice that they do have that cut there, because it means in theory, if you say, bring the leg around and give her a bit of a kick like this, you're not going to have that much of a, it's going to be able to deform this stuff. You're not going to have that much of a cut here in the leg when you do this. But looking around here, we have the stockings there. We have a swivel here at the stocking. let's see. We have ball joint in the hips over there. What else? We have a really good knee bend, really good knee cut over there. Also, I really like the gloss on the boots here. It's very much going for like the whole like leather boot type gloss. It looks really good. And we got, the massive high heels that 2B is known for in the games. Again, like they very much, Yoko Taro very much like with a lot of the design there for the androids in the game, they're very went for, let's do some attractive looking androids and not necessarily go for practicality, but just make something that looks really cool. And then we're just going to hand wave explain all these things later. Like there are hand wavy explanations for like why there's skin in a bunch of areas and stuff like that. If I remember, I think it's like the skirt's meant to be for cooling or some BS like that. I forget exactly. Anyway, we got some accessories over here. We got the Figma stand. I'm going to pull that out right now. And we got a whole bunch of alternate hands as well too. But the stand is going to be the important bit, because then I can actually put her down while I'm showing things off. So standard Figma stand. We can see here that we have a whole bunch of standard hands. Here too, we have some fists. We have some sword holding hands. We're probably gonna need to get into these just for doing poses. We got we got the actual Figma stand. Here, we've got the extra ball joint in case one breaks. They tend to include extra wrist ball joints, and having had that happen to me on a figure, I am really glad that they do that. I am really glad that they do include at least one, like just that extra joint. And we got the little guy here. I don't know if I'll need this guy or not, but let's get it out anyway. I don't always need these little guys. So let's put 2B on her stand. And then we'll start looking at everything else in the box, because there's a lot in the box. And let's see. Okay, so this guy will go in the back over here. Okay, and that brings that at an angle like that there, which is good. And then we just, align all this stuff out here. And now we can pose 2B. Like, she's not going to stand very well on her own, given just how big those heels are. So I do really like that they gave us that option. And we're going to need to switch some hands out just so she can hold some of her swords. We're going to need to show off some S words. So, putting 2B down over here, I'm going to leave the hands over here. Let's start looking at accessories. So, we're going to start with the faces. Face swapping is standard for Figma. You just remove the front and then you pop the face out. We got a few different alternate faces. We have just an open mouth one there, where she is just talking or shouting or something like that. And again, it's still the same blindfolded face. So, looks pretty good. We've also got a couple of faces without the blindfold as well too. We have just a neutral face here without the blindfold. She only really had didn't have the blindfold in a few scenes, but it looks pretty good here. It's a very neutral face for her. It looks really nice. I do really like the, we got they have both the eyes painted, even though you can't see them. And, she's looking a little bit to the side. And then we have, for the last face, we have the, corrupted face. She's gotten a viral infection at this point here. So you can see that we have red eyes because, as we all know, red eyes are bad for robots in fiction, and Nier continues that. So we can see here she has her red eyes. She has a little bit of a sinister grin to her here as well. It's a nice looking figure here. I'm probably gonna display her with one of the blindfolded heads realistically, probably the shouty head or something like that. Because that's just visually more interesting than just a neutral face. 2B as a character very much is the type person that's adheres to the whole dogma of emotions are bad for robots, for androids, and we shouldn't be showing emotions. But hey, we also have more accessories too. I mentioned there was that other stand, and you can see here that we have a stand for the pod. That is going to clip onto the Figma arm over here. It's always cool when they do things like this. It's a good way to put the stand on there. And then you can get the little pod just flying around behind her like it does in the games. We got a whole bunch of ball joints in the stand too, so it is going to be pretty posable. We're going to be able to just get all this stuff up here and just move this around. Yeah, you're really going to be able to get this out and pose out the pod. I need to figure out where exactly it's going to go. And then, of course, we need to look at the pod itself because, yeah, they did a pretty good job on these guys. It's got all the little bits that you expect with the pods. It's got the little arms there. The arms do have a little bit of articulation. Arms go up and down here. And it looks like, oh no, these swivel here too. There's a slight swivel, but it feels a little tight. These don't swivel very much, and I don't really want to push it. But there's okay, these just pop off. Okay. But looking at the actual sculpting, I don't think these are really meant to actually swivel all that much. I think they're kind of just meant to stay there. I think that's just how they attach. So yes, the pods don't really have a lot of articulation. Anyway, you can see here that we have a little hole in the base, and that's what we're going to plug into the stand there. So let's plug the joint in, and probably just need to apply a little bit of force. There we go. All right, but yeah, so yes, the pod will just sit up over here, and it's a fairly good connection on that ball joint, so you should be able to pivot a little bit on the ball joint there still. And then we can just play around with this connection in terms of where we want it to sit, then just adjust the arms and stuff. But yeah, we can just have the pod just float in there behind her like it normally would in the game. And in the game, the pods are also like where all the weapons are coming out of too, just for the record. So 2B comes with a few different sword options, it looks like. We have this sword over here. You can see here that the base of the sword pops off here, and that is just to allow it to go under her hand. I'm just going to get a sword hand out. We're going to give her an S-word hand, and I guess it doesn't really matter if it's left or right-handed. They're robots. But let's just do this hand. Yeah, so we got the whole hand thing here. Pulling this out so we can store this hand right away. Again, it's standard Figma hand swapping. You just pop it off the ball joint, put it on the thingamabobber, and then just put the new hand in. Like so, except that it's the wrong hand, so you don't do that. And you instead go in and you put that back and grab the hand that you want. Like this. So yeah, so like that there. And then, yeah, we got a couple of swords. We got, as I said, we got this sword, which, yeah, we just pop that bottom off, and we should be able to just slide this up, like so. Yeah, slide this up like that. It will tighten quite a bit there by the end, and the shaft is long enough that you could do two-handed posing if you wanted. So that is absolutely an option, and as I mentioned, yeah, butterfly joints are definitely going to allow for two-handed posing. Like, I don't have the other hand in here, but we can see that we can actually do a two-handed configuration here, which is rad. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can get that whole two-handed thing there with a little pod just falling back over there. Oh, or just, this thing coming off the stand. Let's plug this back in. There we go. Yeah, so we can just get her like that. You can easily do a two-handed sword. We also have this option for a sword. We have this much bigger sword. And I assume it's going to be case as well of, there's going to be a part that pops off. Yeah, the bottom pops off this sword as well too. So we can get it on by just sliding it up. So let's pop this sword out. And then let's put the big ass sword in here. Like, it's always nice when you get options like this, where it's like, yeah, you got the smaller sword, and then you got like the big ass sword. If I remember correctly, I think she uses both swords fairly interchangeably in the game in terms of sword styles. It's been a few years since I played Nier. But yeah, just look at the size of this just monster sword here. Just, oh my god. This is like an overkill sword, and I love it. I love an overkill sword like this. So yeah, so you can just do this here. Just pose her like this. And yeah, just get her all energetic and just swinging this giant oversized sword like so. And she does actually come with one more accessory. And I'm going to just put a hand out just in order to actually display this. Because, yeah, we're going to need a holding hand for this one. And that is, she comes with a black box. Just in context for the games, the black boxes are their essentially the power supply cores that the androids use. And they have the ability to detonate their black boxes. They work in pairs. They have the ability to just like bring their black boxes together and detonate them in order to just, if they get overwhelmed in a battle situation, if they're getting corrupted, just take out their enemies. And we can just kind of just sit it in our hand right there. It looks pretty good there. Just bringing it up close. You can see they got a pretty good job on getting all the details of the black box in here. It looks pretty good. And yeah, just slotting in our hand like that. We can see there that, yeah, 2B looks pretty good, honestly. It's a good 2B. So, yeah. To give the final thoughts here and the final assessment, I guess what I'll say is that if you're a fan of Nier Automata, this is a good figure for you. They did do a figure arts as well, and I think there was a D arts as well of 2B because, Square Enix. But, yeah, no, it's a nice looking figure though. If you're a fan of the game, I definitely recommend it. If you haven't played the game, I absolutely recommend you play the game. Why not pick it up during a Steam sale if it's on sale? Or even just go watch the anime. Like, I would recommend the game over the anime, but the game honestly does the anime does honestly do a pretty decent job of communicating the plot, and they handle the Route C very well, quite honestly. I was pretty impressed at how well they handled that, and even just including some of the extra endings, some of the bad ends in the game. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so anyway, with that said, this is Techno signing off until the next day.